The Detroit Lions have one more preseason game left, and then they have to get down to 53 men on their active roster and then the 16 on the practice squad. When you add those two together, you have 69 total players, and there will be 21 that will have to find new teams. And in light of that, there's one more game left for bubble guys to prove their worth, whether it's on special teams, defense, or offense. We know about our coach. You have to have value on special teams. If you don't, then you're less likely to make the roster. But I saw an article today from Sideline Report, and these are 3 Detroit Lions who played themselves off the roster after the second preseason game. And I think this is an interesting list. The first person is going to be Daurice Fountain. Now, this guy was nowhere to be found. He wound up getting 1 catch, I believe, throughout the game. I can't remember how many times he was targeted, but Daurice Fountain went from the practice hype hero to nowhere to be found. I think this is the second game that he was nowhere to be found. Now, in his defense, the first game, the offensive line was absolutely abysmal, and that contributed to him not being able to get the football. But no matter what you do in practice, you've got to be able to show up in the game. I can tell you what, if you are not a starter, Dan Campbell is looking at you during these preseason games. He set the starters because they got practice reps. They did their thing. They're starters anyway. But if you're not a starter, you're going to have to show your value. And right now, Daurice Fountain has shown no value, which is sad because he's a big body wide receiver that we need. The second guy, another wide receiver, Jaylon Calhoun. I agree with this as well. He had 2 catches for 14 yards in 2 preseason games and a fumble last week against the Chiefs. This guy, in my honest opinion, was a bubble guy anyway, practice squad at best. I didn't really see him making the team. But you're not going to make the team if you fumble, unless you have a game like Isaiah Williams. Isaiah Williams fumbled as well. I think his was recovered, though, by the Lions, and he was able to have, he was the best, pretty much the best. No, I think he had more yards than Caden Davis. Don't quote me on that. But I agree. Played itself right off the roster. This stuff is competitive, man. Again, in my opinion, while the practice squad is not the 53-man roster, you happen to be on the team because at any moment, these guys, we've seen Tom Kennedy get caught up from the practice squad and show out. We've seen this happen. So you get on the practice squad, when it's your time, you step up and you show your worth. Now, number 1, you guys are going to hate this. Edge James Houston said Houston had what was practically a no-show performance in the preseason opener. However, driven by a knee injury he suffered, which put him on the list after that game. The news came this past week that the effort to make him into a Sam linebacker was being abandoned to let him do what he does best as a pass rusher. Saturday's game was going to be big for him if health permitted him to play. There was some immediate indication Houston started in Saturday's game, meaning the broadcast said he was out there. I had people in my chat telling me he was out there. I'm like, I don't see him. I'm looking all over for him. The dude was on the sideline in street clothes, so the broadcast messed up, and James Houston was not out there. So I agree with these. You guys know how I feel. As of right now, I don't think James Houston is on this team. I just don't think you can put him on the roster when he can't show his worth. What he did 2 years ago, in my opinion, is less valuable than you may think it is. Or it could be more valuable than I think it is. Aaron Glenn said that he has, I guess, quote, elite pass. I didn't listen to the press conference. I personally can't stand listening to Aaron Glenn. He needs to get his defense together. Then maybe all of this talk, man, it's time to show, right? So I agree with Brad. I agree with these 3 people, just 3. It's probably a lot more people we can talk about, but I think these guys, especially the wide receiver, I think the saddest part is the wide receivers because we need somebody to step up. We did the Pride of Detroit on Lions Syndicate, their 53-man roster prediction after the second preseason game. They have us keeping a whopping 4 wide receivers. That is a problem. I can't say that I've been paying attention, but 4 wide receivers, I already hated 5. I would like to keep 6. 4? I mean, I know we got Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs will be using those guys in the passing game, but 4 wide receivers, that is too thin for me. Practice squad or not, that's too thin for me. So let me know what you think. James Houston, number 1. Jalen Calhoun, number 2, and Darius Fountain, number 3. I agree with all of those. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. The live streams are still a thing. I'm just one man. I'm super busy. I do work in the morning. I have to come home and do other things. And next thing you know, 2 turns to 5. So we're still on for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Nick is back on Tuesdays. I would love to get somebody to fill in the Thursday spot, but we will get on. During the fall, I'll probably be moving to the morning. Because the morning will work better. So just be ready for that. You guys are awesome, man. I will catch you in the next video.